Hi, my name is Tim, I write for television, and welcome to Manuary, the month where I talk exclusively about dude movies. But before we begin, I'm going to need to talk about musicals. There's an old adage in musical theater: when emotions are too strong for words, sing. When emotions are too strong for song, dance. John Wick is a movie about grief. John is a retired assassin who gave up his life of violence to get married. But when his wife dies of cancer, it leaves John in a state of despair. His friends and colleagues ask John if he's okay, but John does not know what to say. He is so closed off and bottled up, he has no words for his pain. Keanu executes the role perfectly. He's an actor who's never been known to have range, but he's perfected the art of playing muted. His stoic looks and chopped delivery indicate that there's something bubbling underneath. His wife gets him a puppy, a final last-ditch attempt to help John heal after she's gone. She knows that John needs something to do. He is a man who speaks with actions. He needs something to care for. And maybe it would have worked. John is attacked by some Russian gangsters, his car is stolen, his puppy is killed, his grief finds new depths. When the news that this Russian gangster has killed John's dog finds its way to the Russian gangster's father, the man tries to call John to repair the damage. But John can't speak. Words cannot convey how furious he is.
Hello, John. I heard about your wife. I'm sorry. My condolences. It seemed to be fate, or happenstance, or just bad fucking luck caused our paths to cross once again.
So John expresses himself the only way he knows how. He dances. Now, the thing about John Wick is that the dance scenes are also gunfights, but don't let that distract you. The choreography is artful, the poses he strikes are expressive, there is beauty in the expert display of physicality. This is a dance scene. And through precise choreographed bloodshed, John finally expresses his feelings.
Evening, Jimmy. Noise complaint?
Noise complaint. You, working again?
No, just sorting some stuff out.
He's sorting some stuff out. This is not John's vengeance, it's his therapy. Now that John has had a taste, he must have more. He has performed only the first act of his ballet. So let's stop here and ask the question, what genre is the movie John Wick? Now, you might say action, obviously, and you'd be right, but the genre of action movie is so broad that it encompasses so much as to become meaningless. There's something very specific about the genre of John Wick. The conventions of the John Wick universe are not like ours, and yet we accept them anyway. The fights do not look like real fights, but we enjoy them anyway, in the way that we would enjoy dance. In a way, John Wick has a lot in common with a musical. You may ask yourself, where are the songs? But just listen. If you really listen to these action sequences, you can hear the rhythm, you can see the choreography, you can feel the emotional intensity. Look at how John Wick tells this gangster that he's going to kill him. Look at John Wick as he finally exacts his revenge. There are no words, no soliloquy. His emotions are too strong for words, too strong for song. The dance speaks for itself. And when the little gangster is dead, John Wick's rampage is not over. John has a lot to say, and he can only say it with bullets and fists. In the end, it's fascinating to me that John doesn't actually find inner peace through violence. In the end, he finds it through grace. He adopts a puppy, a rescue, which is the only ethical way to get a pet. And he cares for this new dog, just like his wife wanted. In a way, the puppy is the real point of the movie. The body count was just John clearing his throat. The John Wick franchise has boiled over at this point, expanding into many different offshoots. Wick himself has danced his way through 4 movies now. The world of these movies is distinctly unreal, filled with bizarre rules and customs, like the unreal conventions of musical theater. Does it make sense that nearly every person in New York is part of a secret assassin syndicate? No, but does it make sense when the lead starts dancing and all the extras join in? It doesn't matter. It's the rules of the musical. I think it's kind of a bummer that the John Wick movies have steered away from John's inner conflict since the first one. It makes this feeling of a man who just needs to express himself less and less relevant to the actual plot of the movie. The grief over his dead wife has fallen away and been replaced by strangely Byzantine legal conflicts involving assassin law, which just isn't as interesting. The choreography is as beautiful as ever, but for me, it's lost its emotional core. Meanwhile, the writer of John Wick wrote another movie, a film in a very similar vein to John Wick, this time called Nobody. In this film, a buttoned-up suburban dad can't find a way to express his dissatisfaction with his humdrum life, other than dancing. Now, I'm not going to say that these films exactly are musicals, but they are doing something very similar to the musical. I think we should call this genre the violence ballet, a subgenre about repressed men experiencing intense emotional distress who can only resolve their inner turmoil through extreme violence. In most action films, violence is a means to an end. The bad guy is going to do some really bad stuff, and so the good guy must resort to extreme violence to stop them. Maybe the hero doesn't even want to fight, but he has to save the day. Not so in the violence ballet. Here, the violence serves no greater purpose. It is an end unto itself. And what makes John Wick so interesting is that the emotions that John is experiencing are so intense and complicated that I don't think words can express them. Me here, I can't tell you how they feel, but John can. And I think that's what makes John Wick such a good dude movie. If you don't mind a quick tangent here, we men in America are typically taught to restrain our emotions. This isn't a new idea, it's not a particularly hot take, and maybe it's changing in the younger generations, but none of that changes the fact that, to a massive degree, men in America are typically more emotionally closed off than women. And while I don't condone using violence to express yourself, I totally understand why these John Wick movies are so satisfying. It's because the journey that John is going on is a journey of self-expression, and it's a journey that we men can relate to. We have all these bottled up feelings that we don't know what to do with, and we turn down every healthy outlet to express them, and we just want to explode. And we wish that we could sing and dance, but these are not behaviors that are generally accepted for men to do in America. So I think there's this tremendous catharsis that comes from watching John finally tell the world how sad he is by filling up a morgue. So yeah, get in the comments, let me know if you can think of any other violence ballets. Please like, please subscribe so I can keep doing this, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.